Key part is, yo, Disney, I'm willing to give you this one props. That was gangster. You really got scar. I mean, like she got that like that cheek swole. Like, oh my God, I got slapped by the mouse in the mouth.
Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with you. And on Skype,
Plummets.
All right, let's get started. Let's see. Starting off, we have all right. Next, last subject we got for the day. This one was sent to us by Blood Axe, and that is Studio Profit Report. Disney dives as Sony soars. Paramount rises, says Hollywood Reporter. What do you got on this one, Blood Axe?
Well, this is something I thought was really interesting, and something we discussed earlier in our shows at the end of 2021 is how much Sony's killing it in the box office between Afterlife and Venom, and then the creme de la creme in Spider-Man No Way Home. But this actually kind of tells a better story. And I didn't realize how much Netflix was actually in the green. Because if you look at the report, Netflix has got an actual revenue of or profit of over $6 billion, which is absolutely insane. Sony's actually almost $2 billion, but Disney is down about 50% from the prior year at only $281 million. So Disney, who used to be the king of the cinema and the entertainment, really is kind of falling on hard times. And this is, I think, clearly showing that the audiences are no longer interested in whatever agenda they're trying to push. They want good stories, which we got in No Way Home. And if you watched Afterlife, yes, there was some fan service from the original Ghostbusters from the 80s. And it was... But it is going back to show us that that the audiences just want to have good stories and good content. Even in Netflix, which has a variety of stuff, some people don't care for some of the content they put on. But man, the Cobra Kai is killing it. And I know there's several of the series my wife and I are watching on Netflix. So I just thought this was an interesting follow up to what we were talking about as far as some of the content that we're actually getting from some of these different sources. And so if Sony's media division can actually talk to the gaming side and actually give them some pointers, maybe Sony can actually do better in the gaming market because their film and TV content is absolutely blowing them away.
Well, yeah, and I have Netflix. I have Warner Brothers with HBO Max. Warner Brothers is owned by Warner Brothers, I think. And then you have Disney streaming services. I have these 3 streaming services, and I will be honest, I hardly ever watch Disney. The only reason I have Disney streaming services is because it came with my my phone service.
Yeah, you basically get it as a package. To comment on that, I've been watching some streamers and YouTubers kind of complaining about all the nostalgia, but I'm going to defend the nostalgia style like of No Way Home and Afterlife because I know why the nostalgia is happening. You know why it is? Because all the new stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you're not giving anybody anything new to watch because you're making all your new stuff. Dang it, we beat this dead horse. You're not picking a broad audience. I'm going to change my tune on that. You're not picking a broad audience for your target.
Well,
and because of that, there's a lot of people like me and Zeno and Blood Axe and Mrs. Blood Axe and plenty of other people who have nothing new to watch because the new stuff isn't for us. So we have to go watch our nostalgia because you're literally telling us it's not for us.
Well, dude, I mean, look, even things that aren't nostalgia necessarily as far as remakes and stuff like that, look at Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper had a huge 80s, 90s theme to it, you know?
Yeah.
So it also had a nostalgia feel.
It's because nobody likes the current times. You want to be blunt? 2020, 2021, 2022, and probably back to 2017 and 18 and 19 sucks. And nobody wants to be there. That's what I honestly think. I think nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to think about it.
Here's the thing about nostalgia, okay? Nostalgia in movies, it's always been there. You know, as a kid, we didn't notice it because it wasn't for us. It wasn't our nostalgia. But the thing is nostalgia makes sense. The reason it makes sense is because who has the money?
The adults.
The adults. The middle-aged adults. That's where most of your money is. The people who these nostalgia films hit. So if you take one of those and you fuck it, you're pissing off the people with the money. Yeah. If you take it and you run with it and you go full nostalgia with it and people are laughing, people are like, oh man, I remember when, da-da-da. You know,
money.
There's money.
True.
And that's the weird thing, and I mean, and that's why Disney has got this down, because apparently they don't give a shit about money because they're fucking everybody's nostalgia.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. Well, Blood X. I'll wait.
Well, I mean, speaking of Disney and the lack of nostalgia, I'm sure both of you have seen the videos and the comments on the new Galactic Star Cruiser Star Wars experience with was it like $6,000 for a 2-night stay or whatever the absolutely insane price point is. Yeah, in my age bracket, the Generation Xers, we actually would get the money together to go that experience if it was the original trilogy. If it was an Imperial Star Cruiser and you had the whole staff dressed as Imperial officers and stormtroopers, and you walk into the cantina and you had the original cantina band from Jabba's Palace play, and even if it was animatronics or whatever it is, man, I would fork out $6,000. I'd take my kids to have an absolute fucking blast. But no, it looks more like a Star Trek experience than it does a Star Wars experience. And so, yes, I have no interest in going and paying money for that shit, because it is not something I want to immerse myself in. But if it had been, even if they went and make it Nubian from the prequels, that would have been cool too. Not my preference, but I would still want to experience it. But this sequel trilogy is not even a sequel trilogy. I don't know what the hell it is, because the aliens are nothing like what we've seen on screen.
It's supposed to be the sequel trilogy based, though. It's supposed to be set in the time frame of the least successful and least loved of the Star Wars like concepts.
Right. So I would have no interest in that. You're right, but if it was set in the original timeline from the original series, oh man, I could not get my money up fast enough to be able to go and experience that with my kids and my wife. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're right, that the pandering to the younger audience, my kids aren't going to pound the table and say, hey, Dad, take me to this. No. They're more interested in, Roblox or Trailmakers or whatever the games they're playing, mm-hmm. but no one's pounding the table and say, hey, take me here.
Mm-hmm. Let me also counter Zeno on this. You are right about the nostalgia, but there's also a big factor, though. This is very different. When we were younger, the stuff that when we were in the 80s, we also liked the stuff, though, that was coming out for the 80s. Like, we had liked the things that were also current. The current stuff isn't selling even to the younger generation. That's their other problem. What big movie has had modern ideals that's made a lot of money? Like, when we were growing up, when Terminator first came out, Terminator was big when Terminator came out. It isn't just a nostalgia. It also was huge when it happened. Batman was huge when it happened. Aliens was huge when it happened. Here's their problem. None of the stuff they're making is even huge now amongst the younger audience.
Well, yeah, true. You do have a point there.
They're not making anything to look back upon fondly.
The only thing that actually, to counter that point, the only thing that's even remotely interesting that is new are superhero movies, and they're even on the downturn for most of the Marvel stuff, except for Spider-Man. That's not even new. Comic books been around since the 50s. So
well, that's why I think why your superhero movies can make it, though. So they actually do hit two markets. They do hit a nostalgia market from the people who read them, but they're also new and cool. And
yeah, this is this generation's Spider-Man. Tom Holland is their generation Spider-Man. Now, they had our generations of Spider-Man in there too, but Tom Holland will be the new generation Spider-Man. But you are not wrong, though, that Spider-Man's also the character, though, is like our dad's Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man's been big for generations. But that's what I'm just saying. It's going to be a shame that when we're old, and then the young people are middle-aged now, that their stuff they're going to look back on as being the big sensation of their time is going to be movies based on our childhood. It's going to be 80s referencing. So it's going to be weird to be like, oh, man, that movie was great when I was a kid because it talks about when my dad was a kid. So, like, I just feel bad for them that nothing of value has been made in their time that isn't referencing still before their time. It's like I said, this has been a crap century. The 21st century has been pretty bad.
But, I mean, honestly, your superhero movies are probably your best bet on what's going to be nostalgia for the...
Squid Game is based on kids' games that like go back to before our time.
Squid Games was more for adults. it wasn't really for kids.
As I'm saying, and even then,
I will say it did get picked up a lot by the younger
kids
generation.
It,
it still had a nostalgia factor of playing children's games.
Yeah,
but what's even creepy, and I'm a terrible dad. I let my kids watch it with me, which I shouldn't have done. But they will.
They don't watch social media. It's all over social media. The younger social media, people have replicated Squid Games in their backyard. So
it's in Roblox. You're to give it up, Black. I've already dealt with this. I had a long talk with you about some of the stuff my kids saw on Roblox. Like, this ain't the most violent thing they'll see.
But yeah.
Anyway, I gave up.
Point being, yeah. Now, I hate to give Sony an applause here, but they definitely I guess have been doing pretty good in the theaters. They're pretty much the only one that's really been doing that great in the theaters.
Oh no, their theaters are pretty good. It's not over censored. Like I'll put it like this: I forget that Sony Studio is the same people that decided to censor their game. Because on a little side note, I've been watching Martha is Dead. Or is it Martha is Not Dead? One of those.
Martha is Dead.
Martha is Dead. And I'm going to let you know, everybody's streaming the uncensored. Everybody's streaming the uncensored version.
How can you question it if you watched it? Martha is Dead.
Actually, I watched it, and there's a lot going on there.
I'm messing with you, man.
No,
I don't even know what that game's about. I've not watched anything.
It's
on
dark.
it.
Like, I'm looking at Sony and going, like, with the subject of this game, you're worried about censor. The subject's way darker than any scene. It is horrifying. Like, this is one of those, tear jerkers dark. But anyway, my point being is just that the streamers are rebelling strongly against that. Nobody's streaming the PlayStation version.
Yeah.
So it's weird because it's like Sony Studios. Hey, we're not doing all of this. We're not being woke and or trying to be super correct. We're doing good movies. We're not overdoing it. There's a little bit, but not so much it's costing them quality. Then they'll turn around on their systems and games and go, we're going to censor this. And it's like, nobody's going to show your game then. And that's literally what's going on. Nobody's showing the PlayStation version just about. Everybody I've watched, all the big streamers, are doing the uncensored version. So you literally knocked your version out of the top streams of the game. Why? Because for one, people are watching the uncensored version. Like, who are you protecting? Nobody cares. Your kids shouldn't be playing this game. It's really effed up. It's way too empty. Kids, anybody that you think shouldn't see that uncensored scene does not need to play this very dark game. It's super dark.
All right.
It's really dark.
Well, we've run over quite a bit, so let's wrap this up.
There's so much blood. It's got a lot of blood. I feel a little sick.
Oh,
there's
all right.
about it.
Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com to find links everywhere we are online. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Go to YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe there so you can see our latest videos as they get posted. Also, we do live game streams throughout the week, and every Sunday at 3:30 Central Time, we do this live show. Now, next week, Gonna go ahead and give you a heads up. We may or may not be able to have a live show next week. We will be down at CoastCon. I'll probably try to do something live, maybe from my phone on the floor. But we'll see what happens. If you can make it, come down to the Gulf Coast and hang out with us at CoastCon. We'd love to see you. And all right. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy.
Just a player, just a player, just a player, playing the damn game.
That's what you can do when you have a reputation, but nobody trusts Disney. Did Disney tell you something, you're going to immediately go, let me go check that. Or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say them in particular. Large corporations that have not fostered a trustworthy reputation, you don't immediately believe what they say.